Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today the Los Angeles Clippers have re-signed Russell Westbrook to a 2-year, $8 million deal. I think the only thing that's really surprising about this deal is the amount of money Russ is getting. I don't think any of us thought, that he would be getting a 2-year, $8 million deal, 4 years a year. I mean, $4 million a year. I mean, he got $8 million over 2 years. I think everybody thought he could maybe get like $8 to $10 million a year. I mean, it was expected that teams would be willing to offer that type of area of $7.5 to $10 million a year to Russell Westbrook, but Russ only gets $8 million over 2 years, and to return to the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, look how good he was for the Clippers after he signed there, after getting bought out by the Jazz. Had 16 points per game with the Clippers in his time there, and he averaged 8 assists per game and 5 rebounds per game. So Russ averaged 16, 8, and 5 in the regular season, and then was stepped up big time. I don't have his playoff stats, but he stepped up big time for the Clippers in the playoffs. It's not like... I know the Clippers didn't do good in that series, but at the same time, they were playing the Phoenix Suns with a team of Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker without Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and Russell Westbrook and Norman Powell played amazing in that series. Westbrook, I think he might have had multiple 30-point games, and honestly, if Kawhi and Paul George were healthy that whole series, the Clippers probably would have eliminated the Suns, in my honest opinion. But this is still a good re-signing for the Clippers because Russ was great for them in the playoffs. He was great for them in the regular season. And now in a maybe potential full year with the Clippers, I think Russ is going to even be better. Now, I want to get to James Harden. That's the next thing I want to get to. Is there a chance that Sixers still... is there a chance the Clippers still trade for James Harden? I believe so. I know James Harden's played the more of a point guard role for Philadelphia, even though really Maxi's been playing the point guard, but James has been ball handling. James has been, starting at shooting guard for Philly, but James Harden with Philly over the last couple of years has had more of the point guard duties for Philadelphia. And he did the same with Brooklyn, where, Kyrie was Kyrie was listed as the point guard, but James, the ball was usually mostly in James's hands. I honestly could still see the trade happening for James Harden. These guys are best friends. I know it didn't work. As a Rockets fan, trust me, I know us Rockets fans, we know most. James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Here's what I say to people. Like, it's not that James Harden and Russell Westbrook didn't work out. I'll tell you what happened with that Rockets team. And I'm not saying if that trade, the Clint Capella trade, didn't happen, that we would have beat the Lakers in the bubble in the second round, because the Lakers were a good team in 2020 in the bubble. But what I will tell you is it would have been a different story. James Harden and Russell Westbrook, even I know they're older now. It's been 3 years since these. Once the season starts, so it will be 3 years since, the Rockets, and since Russ and James last played with each other, because it was like the bubbles in like September, when that series was going on because of COVID. And so in September when training camp is starting around, it'll be 3 years since they last played with each other. So I know it's been 3 years. James was 30. I don't know how old Russ was. Russ is probably, I think Russ is like the same age, if not maybe a little bit younger. Russ is probably like 32. So Russ was like late 20s, early 30s. James was exactly 30 when they were playing with each other. I know they're older now, but they were a good duo. That wasn't the problem. They had the Rockets. That 2020 team had no size. They had absolutely no size. We traded Clint Capella and Nene to the Hawks, and we had this idea of a small ball lineup, which was just terrible. We traded for Robert Covington. We put Covington at the power forward position. We put PJ Tucker at the center position, and we barely made it past the Phoenix Sun. I mean, we barely made it past the Oklahoma City Thunder because they had good size and Steven Adams and Danilo Gallinari. And then you face this team had rebounding problems. It was terrible. We couldn't get a defensive rebound to save our lives, and especially in that Lakers series. You face a Lakers team, and look how many big guys they had. They had LeBron James, they had Anthony Davis, and that's not even it. They had JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard. And they would give Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee good minutes in that series just because we had no size. And it killed us in that series. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like if the Rockets would have not traded Clint Capella in February, I think the Rockets would have had a better chance in that bubble series, and everything might have been different. Everything might have been different for the Houston Rockets. But we'll never know because it's a huge what if. But Russell, I don't think the problem with the Rockets was Russell Westbrook and James Harden. I thought they both played really well together. They had chemistry. They're best friends. They had chemistry on the court. They were a good duo. I thought the problem was the size that we had as a center. We had no center, and we faced a team that had AD, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, LeBron James. No size facing against those four players. You are screwed. Not only do you have Russell Westbrook and James Harden, but you add Paul George and Kawhi Leonard with those guys. When Russell and James 3 years ago had success with playing in Houston. Now 3 years later, they added Paul George and Kawhi Leonard together. That team is fully healthy, and with all the other role players they have around it. Let's just say they have to give up Terrence Mann. Let's say they have to give up Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris Sr., and let's go Brandon Boston and Amir So let's say they have to give up Marcus Morris Sr., Terrence Mann, and Brandon Boston, and two first round picks for James, maybe one first round pick and a couple second round picks for James Harden. So then you have at the 1, you have Russell. At the 2, you have James. At the 3, you have PG. At the 4, you have Kawhi. At the center, you have Zubac. And then off the bench, you have Norman Powell, Robert Covington, who played with both Russ and he's played with Russ twice, but played with Harden as well. They had some good chemistry, and whoever else is coming off their bench. So I don't really know who else is. Oh, Bones Highland is off their bench as well, so he'd be coming off the bench. So that Clippers team would be pretty good. So I would like this. I like this signing for the Clippers to get Russell Westbrook, and I would think the Clippers should probably still trade for James Harden. But you guys have your thoughts on the LA Clippers re-signing Russell Westbrook, and let me know your thoughts on if you think the Clippers should still trade for James Harden even after re-signing Russell Westbrook. You guys have your thoughts, and that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.